Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. I was 7 years old. We'd gone to school as if things were normal. We were told to stay out of trouble and just keep things the same. When I got into my classroom, our teacher told us all to sit down, put our books down, and put our head on the desk. We were to sit there silently in reverence. She had rolled the television in on that big cart and was playing a speech from Dr. Martin Luther King. She told us to just listen. I looked up and I saw her crying. I knew who Dr. King was. I knew how important he was to all of our lives. But I wondered about this man who could make my teacher cry. I knew my mother was crying the night before and yelling and angry, but that was kind of normal. And then in the middle of the night, I heard her sobbing, and now my teacher was crying. Who was this man that could make these powerful people cry? We got an announcement over the loudspeaker that school was to be dismissed, and we all went home, and all the adults were huddled up, crying. As big as his life has been to me, seeing my teachers, my mother, my aunts, all of the adults stop in reverence, respect, and total grief had an impression on me more than anything the media could have done. He made them cry. He made them stop. He made them send us home from school. He made people run through the streets. He made the National Guard be stationed in our town for an entire year. What was going on? So I decided to figure out who this was, what he was, and what he stood for, and how he thought. And what we think about Dr. King is often baffling to me because we pick apart his speeches without really seeing the depth of that thought. He never said, I had a plan. He said, I have a dream. It was aspirational. But there's a quote from him that I live by. He said, rarely do we find men and women who willingly engage in hard, solid thinking. There's an almost universal quest for easy answers and half-baked solutions. Nothing pains some people more than having to think. When it comes to the life of Dr. King, we don't even want to think of him as a thinker. Because if we do, we'll all see how superior his mind was to anything we could think about. He was 15 when he went to college. His sister said that when other kids were out playing or wanting to find the latest music, the latest styles, he was sitting and reading more and more and more books. He didn't just want to be a scholar. He wanted to think. They say that for every minute that he spoke, he spent at least an hour in research and study. It's no wonder that letter from a Birmingham jail is so detailed, so brilliant. He didn't need resources and references. It was all in his head. I found a quote from an article that he wrote in the newspaper at Morehouse. He was 17 at the time. The article was called The Purpose of Education. And in it he says, if we are not careful, our colleges, and I'll add schools, will produce a group of closed-minded, unscientific, illogical propagandists consumed with immoral acts. Be careful, brethren. Be careful, teachers. Where we use and how we use our thinking, our education, our thoughts does not lead to this beloved community he talked about. It doesn't lend itself to harmony or a kingdom-minded outcome. It's all about getting more stuff and being better than somebody else. When you look at King, spend some time with the depth of his thinking, how deeply he thought about the thought. And then you will understand why my teacher said, put your head down and think. We're going to get somewhere, but we got to think deeper and more lovingly than we have. And when we do, we'll understand it better by and by. I love you.